In today's lecture, we will talk about the antipsychotics, and further we'll discuss what is psychosis in this, and then we will discuss about schizophrenia or schizophrenia, and further we will know what is the cause of psychosis or the pathogenesis of psychosis, and then we will move towards the cure and treatment, and in the last we will discuss about the pharmacology of psychosis. You can say we will talk about the antipsychotics. So let's start from the term antipsychotics. Psychotics is from psychosis, and anti stands for against. So antipsychotics as a whole means the drugs that we take to counter the psychosis or to alleviate the sign and symptoms of psychosis. Now, what is psychosis? Psychosis actually denotes varieties of mental disorders that relate inability to differentiate between the real and fake, plus self-motivation. In psychic conditions, a person is not able to differentiate between the fake and true. And again, the person is not able to motivate oneself. So you can say the self-motivation ability becomes down. So this is actually called as psychosis. And one very prominent example of that is schizophrenia or schizophrenia. You can pronounce anyway. Well, this is a kind of chronic psychotic syndrome. So in this case, a number of signs and symptoms collect and combine together, and they produce a kind of chronic kind of a severe type of psychosis. So this is called as schizophrenia or schizophrenia. So in this condition, what happens to a person, or what are the signs and symptoms generally observed? That are the hallucination, delusions, disordered thinkings, and speech disturbance. Now, what do we mean by the hallucination? A person may have false perceptions. Example is that a person will be perceiving, or you can say hearing, the sounds that will not be listened by a normal person. So this is called as hallucination. You can say false perception in sense of sounds. So he will be, or the person will be hearing kind of sounds. And what do we mean by the term delusion? It is very simple. We have a patient, the psychic patient, or you can say schizophrenic or schizophrenic patient is here. Now here we have another person. This person or this guy might be talking about something, and this patient will think that this particular person is talking about me. And even this person might not be talking about him, but this patient will be saying that this particular person is talking about me. So this kind of perception that you're targeting yourself in other contexts. I mean, if someone is talking about something else, this patient will consider that the particular person is talking about me. And the next one we have is disordered thinking. There will be a kind of disorder in the sense of thinking. And speech disturbance might also be observed in sense of schizophrenia or schizophrenia. Well, now the question arises, what is actually the cause, the pathogenesis, or the reason behind psychosis? Well, we have number of hypotheses regarding this psychic condition, and the very well known, the valid and reasonable one considered right now is dopamine, neurotransmitter. If its concentration increases, it will cause the psychosis. And now the question rises, is there any kind of cure or treatment available? The answer is, for the cure, no. Regarding treatment point of view, we have antipsychotics through which we can treat somehow the psychosis, and we can also treat the schizophrenia or schizophrenia, though it is a chronic psychotic syndrome, and there is another possibility also available that these might not be treated. Well, the patients have been observed in sense of alleviation of sign and symptoms. So by means of using the antipsychotics, there is a kind of alleviation of signs and symptoms observed regarding these schizophrenic or schizophrenic patients. Well, if there is any kind of psychotic disorder, these antipsychotics are used to treat that, and they are functional in sense of treating the psychosis. And in some patients, these might not work. Simple. Now let's come towards the pharmacology. In the pharmacology, we study the first generation and the second generation antipsychotics. Now, first generation antipsychotics are known as typical antipsychotics, and second generation are also known as atypical antipsychotics. And another term is that these are called as old antipsychotics, and these are actually the modern antipsychotics. And a very important term that I want to discuss time and again, that is typical and atypical. Regarding typical and atypical, we have two types of ideas in several books. Okay, some books state that typical are actually the drugs that were ancient, means are old drugs, and some books state that typical are the drugs that have very specific or particular actions. These two thoughts. And regarding the atypical, some books state that these are the drugs having multiple actions, and regarding this atypical, there is another idea that states that these atypical are actually the new drugs, the modern drugs. Well, you have to learn both. Now let's come towards explanation of the first generation antipsychotics. Regarding first generation antipsychotics, we do have two types: low potency, high potency. Example of the low potency drugs are chlorpromazine, promazine, promethazine, etc. And regarding the high potency, we have haloperidol, benperidol, and droperidol. Now these are actually the drugs that are having same kind of pronunciation and somehow easy to remember. We do have number of drugs regarding low potency and high potency first generation antipsychotics. Well, here is the term potency here. Now what do we mean by the potency? The potency is actually referring towards the ability of the antipsychotic drug to bind to the receptor. Okay, it's actually referring to the ability to bind. Now low potency we are having actually low ability, and high potency will have high ability or high affinity to bind to the receptor. And now what is the receptor for the antipsychotics drugs? We discussed that neurotransmitter is dopamine, so the receptor will be what? Dopamine. And regarding second generation atypical antipsychotics, we have aripiprazole, quetiapine, olanzapine, and clozapine, etc. Now the very important point regarding the second generation is that they are non-specific in action, that is they are binding to some other receptors available also. Like example, in sense of they may bind to the adrenergic, cholinergic, and histaminergic, serotonergic receptors also, and due to which we will have different kinds of side effects. Well, a very common point regarding the first generation and second generation is that these drugs will bind to the dopamine receptor type 2. And most of the first generation will bind to type 2 dopamine receptor, but regarding the second generation, this is observed that they are binding to the type 2 D2 receptor of the dopamine, as well as they are binding to some other receptors like of the adrenergic, cholinergic, histaminergic, and serotogenic receptors. Means they're having the ability to bind there also. Well, now let's come towards the mechanism of action. What will happen when they bind, when these drugs bind to the receptor? So our very first understanding was regarding the psychosis, that when there is an increase in the neurotransmitter concentration, that is dopamine, so then there is a kind of psychosis. Now what we are going to do, we are going to actually block the action of the dopamine on the dopaminergic receptor. So here regarding the dopamine and dopaminergic receptor, we have a kind of mechanism of action. First I'm telling you the normal mechanism, then I will move towards the antipsychotics, how the antipsychotics will help us in achieving our goal, that is to alleviate the sign and symptoms of the psychosis, means to decrease the sign and symptoms of the psychosis. Well, here we have the presynaptic neuron from which the dopamine neurotransmitter will be released, and here is the receptor available for the dopamine. Remember, we have D1, D2, D3, D4, D5 types of the dopamine, but the most of the actions seen are on the D2 type receptor. So dopamine will bind to the receptor and will show its action. When its concentration increase, it will cause the psychosis. And now what we are doing when the concentration is increased, we will just give the antipsychotics. These antipsychotics will actually bind to the same D2 receptor and will block the dopamine to come and bind or to stimulate the receptor. So if there is no any kind of availability for dopamine to go and bind to the receptor, so then automatically the sign and symptoms will be somehow alleviated, somehow will be decreased by using the antipsychotics. This is all about antipsychotics, and if still you have any kind of question regarding the topic, you can drop that in the comment box. We'll come for the answers very soon, and thank you for watching.